So this is an unusual story from tomorrow's Metro. Unusual in that it's about this show. And some people aren't very happy about the way Leo and Simon, that's Leo Kearse and Simon Evans, covered the Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe story. Nick?
Yes, well, this is a brilliant story for us to be covering, as we're all narcissists here. It's about us. So Victoria Coren Mitchell clashes with GBNews panellists over racist Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe comments. The programme looked S-word. So this is so what happened was Leo and Simon Evans and Diane Spencer were talking about Nazanin the other night. Leo made a joke. He said, you're going to read it?
I can, if you like. Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe is Iranian for ungrateful.
Perfectly serviceable joke.
Did you make me read that? So now everyone's going to watch it and attack me for saying the joke.
You look like you wanted to.
Me saying it. No, I was just going to get the wording right.
Okay.
That was all.
But that's very important. It's a decent joke. It's not Nick Dixon level, but it's a good joke. It's and this caused all kinds of problems because Victoria Coren Mitchell decided this was racist. She then shared the clip and she said, if this stumbly, cackling, racist incompetence is what GB News puts out as a trailer, what on earth is the rest of it like? She doesn't know because, like most of our critics, she hasn't watched the channel. But, yes, so then this kicked off.
I think you do get virtue, like, it's a way of getting virtue points online is slagging off GB News. It's like an easy way of getting virtue points, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And it's a bit unclear why they hate it so much. I mean, David Mitchell's already written a whole Guardian article about it. Oh. And now Victoria Coren Mitchell, they're both as attacked us on Twitter. And it seems to live rent-free in their heads, to use that expression. And we're just this lowly, terrible channel, so I don't know why they're so bothered. Anyway, so then Leo inevitably defended himself against the accusation of racism, which is a terrible accusation to make against someone. And it was a very strange response from Coren Mitchell. He said, can you say what is racist about it? And she said, well, that's beyond my powers, seemingly to say that because she's white, this is my interpretation, she couldn't possibly say what's racist about it, but it is definitively racist. That was her stance. And then she said, and you'd only argue back anyway, as if it was silly that Leo would defend himself against a libelous accusation. So she hit back with that, and it's all gone on from there. I've defended Leo.
I think it's a default reaction is when people on, the other side of the culture war, if you like, hear an opinion they don't like, a default reaction is to go, that's racist.
Yes.
And once she's said that, she's got to defend it.
Yeah.
And that's where she's got herself into trouble, because she's written this sort of 20... It's like the longest thread in the history of Twitter, in her own admission, boring. I mean, it's unreadable.
Yes.
And... Sorry,
no,
I'm desperate to speak.
I'm not desperate. It's just it's been a big thing today. Because she said initially she couldn't defend it. Then when Leo sort of pressed a bit more on the point, she then did in the long, boring thread, as you put it. And yeah, she made such...
No, she put it, not me.
She put it, exactly. Yeah. And she said things like... So then Leo compared Nazanin to Meghan Markle, made a joke about that on Twitter. And she was... A very fascinating thing from Coren Mitchell here. She says, that was a bit rum, but I assume you think you'd make exactly the same comparison if they were both white. I reckon you wouldn't. So it's the mind-reading accusation of racism. She says Leo wouldn't make that comparison. Of course, he definitely would, because the joke is about ingratitude. It's about perceived ingratitude.
Yeah.
Meghan is like Nazanin because they're both ungrateful, is Leo's joke. Nothing to do with race. As I said in my tweet, you can read my tweet thread, Nick Dixon comment, but basically, it's nothing to do with race. She also...
Your follow account's going to go up by 3.
Thank you. Coren Mitchell also said that the language is not Iranian, it's Farsi, but of course that wouldn't work very well in a joke. One, because people don't necessarily know that. Also, it's just funny to say the Iranian for... It sounds a bit dumb. Leo's taking on a bit of a persona.
It's broad cudgel humour,
Yeah.
I think, for me, the glorious thing about it was Leo's sign-off at the very end of it. Anyway, I'm getting married tomorrow and my best man's Iranian.
I know, that was amazing. I know, probably true.
Darius.
But I don't want to... I've got more points, but I think I'm going to let Eric speak, so we should let Eric come back. If you want to come back with the opposite side.
This is very much a Bean John Malkovich moment, where it's a show about the news talking about itself. I feel like there's levels here that are so meta, I don't even know what to say. I mean, Leo was trying to make a joke, and he pointed out it wasn't racist because Iran is a country, not a nation, so if he was being more xenophobic than racist, I guess, if I was defending him in saying that. But I'm not going to pick on a man for telling a joke on the day before his wedding.
No, but let's just be fair, Eric. If it was, let's say it was a poll...
I don't think it is even xenophobic.
No, it's not xenophobic.
Well, no, but if you're not being... If you're making fun of a cultural thing, then that would be the argument.
It doesn't necessarily mean you're xenophobic.
I think it's
more
make fun of
being racist.
you and I make fun of Americans.
It's
but
a linguistic joke.
And
I always take it personally and then tweet about it in long threads.
Look, he's desperately
Sorry,
I'm
sorry. It's a simple linguistic formula. He would do it if it was a Polish name. He would do it if anything. The joke is simply the name means ungrateful. It's nothing to do with any.
Because she had the audacity to question why she was left to rot in Iran for years.
Well, that's a separate thing. Whether you think it was an unfair opinion, but it was just an opinion about one person in joke form. That's all it was, and it's. She wrote this long thing, perhaps because Leo mentioned lawyers. Perhaps she had a pang of conscience and just realised it's unfair to smear someone. And what was very interesting, lastly, if we have to move on, is that she had defended Jimmy Carr very recently. He made a joke that was much more offensive, the traveller joke, famously. And she defended Jimmy Carr. So really, it's just joke. People I like, their jokes are good. Leo, bad, because he's on GBNews. It's not more complicated than that, in my opinion.